I'm sorry, the mob has spoken. What do you want me to do? Alright, be that way. I don't know. Nothing in this show is really standing out to me. Is that Bill Burr? Today I'm making a Mandalorian prop. It's a quick draw blaster pack, if anyone was curious. That's gonna be a really clunky title. So, for context, Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians. He's like this insanely successful comedian, which translates into a marginally successful movie actor, which gives me hope, because I happen to be a marginally successful background actor, aka extra. I play drunks in the background of college movies. That's what actually pays the bills, by the way. If I were relying on ad revenue and Patreon alone, I would have been dead 5 years ago. Then I'm sitting here going, well, if a 40-something balding redhead can get work, then there's gotta be hope for me. More context, my dad's a bald redhead, and I clearly don't take after him. I don't like it. But there's always that fear that one of the dozens of poisons that I work with on a daily basis will contaminate me and reactivate that dormant gene. And then all of my cosplay options are gonna narrow to guys with helmets. And I guess Lex Luthor. But this is just blowing my mind because Bill Burr famously does not get Star Wars. And I quote, "The only one of those movies I liked was Empire because they cut off Han Solo's hand." Luke Skywalker. Do whatever. Death Star looks like Epcot. I should probably be giving some instructions on what I'm doing, right? What? In a tutorial? Crazy. The machine he's wearing on his back looks kind of like the X-Wing life support box, so I just use that for a little bit of a reference or creative springboard since I can't see it all that well. I'm making all this fake sci-fi nonsense out of a yoga mat. It's EVA foam. People who want to sound smart say EVA foam or ethyl vinyl acetate. Acetate. Ooh, those are science words. Maybe he has a degree in chemical engineering. Nope, went to film school. I can load a camera. I put plastic over light bulbs. So just say the truth, you made it out of a yoga mat. People will be way more impressed. The looks on their faces, it's like I broke their brain. Or maybe they're just reacting to this grown man who's in a spacesuit. But yeah, the base structure, I'm connecting all the pieces with contact cement because that's the part that has to hold up to the stress of being bent, because if you're wearing it and moving around a lot, there's gonna be wear and tear, and that's the strongest glue for that. But I'm running way behind schedule, so all the detail shapes I'm doing with hot glue. It's perfectly fine where I live, maybe not so much if you live in California. And for all the people sick of me talking about the differences between hot glue and contact cement, thank you, because that means you're watching my videos consistently. For the mechanical part, I need to make a quick draw mechanism. I can't really tell what the mechanism is from the trailer. My best guess is that it's one of these three, but I'm impatient, so I went with the simplest one, and I'll change it if I'm wrong. Yeah, so the episode came out while I was editing this, and yeah, I got it totally wrong. It is this one, not this one. But here's the thing, if you're at a convention or a public place and you've got like a mechanism on you that's going to deploy outward, even if you do the over-the-shoulder shot, like in that one close-up, that has a high likelihood of injuring somebody, whereas something that deploys upward, that totally avoids the horizontal circle of safety type thing. So I would still recommend having it deploy upward, just dressing it up like a droid arm. All right, back to the video. Does that make sense to anyone? I don't know, I can't draw for shit. And the simplest is actually the mechanism that I already built for another project, because there's only so much patron money to go around, and I already spent it on this piece. Oh, there's a segue. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my many patrons. Well, it's a sizable group scrolling by right now. If you'd like to support my pet xenomorph's tongue reconstruction surgery, then you can support me on Patreon by following the link below. Also, real quick, if patrons want their last name in the scroll, just let me know, I'll put it in there. Normally I don't for anonymity's sake, but I brought it up in behind the scenes content for the patrons, and I was challenged to try and pronounce Emily Villanova's last name. Did I get it right? Let me know! Made a slider out of scrap wood and PVC pipe that fit together loosely, but not too loosely. I cut a trench for a post that is going to hold on a spring or a rubber band. I also cut notches at the other end. I ended up going with one of those bendy lamp springs. Not from this lamp, clearly. But that got in the way of the smooth sliding action, so I sanded one side of the dowel on my belt sander. Note that it does not have to be sanded the entire way. In fact, I think that aids in not having the thing shoot all the way out. It just has to be sanded the amount that might come into contact with the spring loop. I'm using a spring, but I would recommend a rubber band because of how insanely dangerous this is. By comparison, this is a stone. How about we not break our hand? Yeah. I think I may have just broken my Dremel. Yeah, so you kill somebody with that if you get him in the eye. Honestly, I'm glad I have to redo the alien tongue, because if this were to misfire, it could take an eye out. Like, I can't see real well in there. Not to mention, if the mounting plate came undone, it could shoot back into my face, take out my good eye. Next, I cut a notch in the pipe for the trigger, then one in the dowel. I did that opposite. It's got a hook on from underneath, not above. I made the trigger out of MDF, which is easy to cut, but I'm not sure of its long-term durability. Like, I don't know, it seems to melt if it gets wet. So if I have a reason to use this more than once, I'll make a new one out of metal. Although it seems to be holding up fine, and that's how he died. I put that on a hinge and added an eye bolt because this is going to activate via drawstring. The dowel wasn't long enough, so I added this bit of wood, and that's gonna act as a base for the mini blaster. I made the mini blaster. Gonna cut this up because it is the crappiest of airsoft guns. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a barrel on this and paint it black. And we have a convenient barrel! Yeah. What am I doing developing calluses for no reason? Wo ist mein pliers? No, seriously, where are they? I guess I shall use my calipers? No. Leatherman. That is the word. Oh, they're right here. Come on, open your eyes, man. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Oh, God. I am just a mess today. I checked the reference images, and I can't see much of anything in them, but I can see that it's actually kind of a snub nose, so this is going to be way too long. I mean, it looks Star Wars-y, because, you know, Leia had that crazy long barrel in the one from the 70s. Oh, and Natalie Portman had that, I want to use try to use the characters' names. Padamame. She had the crazy long, skitty, ridiculous, pew-pew blaster. Okay, so that can go over there. You don't need a ton because it's gonna smoosh down. There's like no clearance whatsoever. Oh, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. I'm gonna do it, and it's burning my skin off, you dope. First degree burns. This is dangerous. Oh, do you see that? Just dremeled my thumb. Oh, and that right there, that's a Dremel cut. I'll just use the scissors. Okay, that is the worst gun that I've ever built, but it's light, and that's the important thing. I painted it up. Wow, that is the worst spray paint I have ever used. Never gonna buy it again. Cheaper isn't always better, guys. Plowing right ahead here. I put that on a hinge and tested it out. I half expected that to just explode, although it did seem to go more in the other direction. I attached a drawstring to the trigger eye bolt. Ignore the extra one that's in there. I wasn't sure of the placement at the time. And another one into the blaster, which will be completed later. Right now, I have to build a mounting apparatus that can handle the shock of deployment. Luckily, foam is a good shock absorber. I popped that in there and glued it in place. I also secured the blaster pivot drawstring so that it would be taut when it's fully deployed. This will cause the blaster to flip up into a firing position as the line becomes taut. Let's test that again just to make sure it won't destroy itself. Nice. That is still super dangerous and wood breaks. So if you're walking around at a convention with this, I'd just remove the spring when you're not using it. Also, in the case of filmmaking purposes, you just get a close-up shot on a fake torso for the actual deployment bit and just cut it in there, because all you need is a duct tape dummy. Why haven't I done one of those yet? I painted the wood parts and then moved on to the straps. My leather working abilities are amateur at best. Plus, it's hard to make custom clothing without a duct tape dummy and myself. So I just got one on Amazon, link below. Trust me, patrons, this is gonna come in handy. You do not even know how many space detective cutaway sketches I've got planned. No laws on series, just cops. It comes up more often than you'd think. I'll have to undo them when I know what the prop in the show is actually gonna look like. I mean, you'd think that color would be easy to determine from a trailer, but I mean, trailers change, so until the show's out, it's all up to interpretation. You actually go back and watch the original Star Wars, when Luke's fighting, I don't know, Dr. Ball's cousin, the little floating training orb, his saber's green. But in every movie after that, it's blue. Just blue. I guess the point I'm trying to make is I don't want to literally paint myself into a corner. Ba-dum-ba! This is why I'm not a comedian. Alright, so now that I've got the tactical turtleneck, let's get some test footage. Take this blue screen. Did it work? Yeah, kinda. That could shoot my nose off. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. If you like that, then you could like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload, and check out the literal hundreds of other DIY videos in the meantime. All right, see you later. I'm gonna go build an alien tongue. See, this is what happens when I try and make a baby Yoda. I can't do it. It's beyond my capabilities. This is what I think of when I think alien puppet.